I just finished reading A Court of Mist and Fury, and my life is never gonna be the same. So, if you haven't heard of Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses series, the first book was A Court of Thorns and Roses. I read that a few months ago. It was just sort of meh. Even in the spoiler-free part for this book, there will be spoilers for that book, so if you haven't read it, go read it. But it is worth reading that book just to read this one. This one gave me so many emotions and feelings that I just can't process right now. So A Court of Mist and Fury picks up at the end of A Court of Thorns and Roses. Farrah's come back from under the mountain. She and Tamlin should be all, lovey-dovey, but instead she's got, severe PTSD. If you read A Court of Thorns and Roses, you know she has this bargain with Rhysand. No matter how you spin it, he's food. I was really, really worried about this because I felt a little iffy on Rhysand in the last book, just sort of you feel a little like you're taking advantage of the situation a little too much, but I wasn't looking forward to the whole bargain thing. It just didn't feel right. But luckily, I definitely changed sides on this. I became very much Team Rhysand. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. They're delicious, so is he. If you did not enjoy Court of Thorns and Roses, don't worry. And you actually have this really nice sort of slow build romance, even if they do get a little too energetic at the end. But anyway, I'm just gonna go straight into spoilers because I have so many feelings about this book. First thing that I thought was just, I don't need to know every little detail of Tamlin and Farrah's sex life. Next thing that I really started thinking was, I hate love triangles, so I really just want them to stay together. But in reality, Tamlin's feeling a little controlling. I don't want to hear another male's name on your mouth right now. I'm trying to protect you, Farrah. And it was just all setting off all of these warning bells in my head. Potential abusiveness later down the line, and she's not happy, and you're not helping her with that. And that really set the stage nicely for what was going to come next, which was my complete and unashamed switch to Team Reese's Pieces. The quote on the back, and they're like, God damn it, Reese's Pieces, why'd you need to come in now? But when I actually read that scene in the book, I was there thank God. And then when we actually got to his Court of Dreams, I was there wait, he's treating her well? Am I shipping them now? But I wasn't going to ship them. One thing that I did notice, there's just a lot of stuff through the book that makes it really hard for me to place what time period it takes into, because they describe a bunch of plumbing that sounds very 21st century. You don't have toilets, you don't have bathtubs if you go back a long time ago. Cassian has Farrah practicing punching, and he described something that to me sounded like focus mitts. Get your time period straight. I was just starting to worry about, am I gonna get sick and tired of Farrah? Because every single time that something goes badly, she just crawls into bed, does nothing. But I can't really blame her for that, because she did go through something traumatic, I guess. Do we blame her for being a boring narrator and being all Bella Swan and new mooning? Or do we accept that that is what real human beings do after they've suffered some traumatic event? Luckily, that didn't last for long, which is another really nice thing about her and Reese's Pieces' relationship. They made each other better. He helped her through this spot instead of being like Tamlin, who just made it worse. And that made the relationship a lot more believable. It felt a lot less like insta-love than A Court of Thorns and Roses, because in A Court of Thorns and Roses, there was no development between Tamlin and Farrah that just made you go, yeah, I need those two together. I just see it. But in this one, by the time that they actually did get together, they're like, God damn it, how long is it gonna take? We all know! And I also think that it shows an appropriate shift. First love probably won't be that deep. You see a bit more an adult perspective on the relationship, and I really did like that. They go to the summer court, and they meet a dude named Tarkin. I'll admit, we do learn that Tarkin's a pretty nice dude, but when they're this is Tarkin, and they're like, don't trust that man, don't trust that man. Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars, anybody? Scene where Farrah was being all jealous of that princess that was just, drooling over over Reese's Pieces, and she was just there like, I'm jealous. I could not ship those two more. At that point, I'm just there like, I'm a goner. I will go down with this ship. Like, that entire scene gave me so many emotions. I just, like, put the book down, like, God damn it, Reese, you're such a better person than Tamlin is. You respect her emotions. Why can't you notice that she's sad? Yeah, this is the part where everything that I wrote about my feelings started getting really illegible because I was just having so many of them. Once again, Farrah slips back into this sort of, like, depression nap. I feel like such a bad person for blaming her for that because I do that too, like, but I was also reading it and just being like, come on, Farrah, you can do it, you've been doing so well, and besides, Reese is probably having his heart being broken because you aren't talking to him. Why do they refer to people as females and males? It sounds so clinical. It also felt almost like impersonal. Right after we had Farrah's little sulk in bed, she just got up and started being badass, and I was just there like, slay queen, slay. And Lucian shows up in the forest. I was really sort of sad that it was Lucian, because I like Lucian. He seems like a pretty good guy, like a little weak-willed. And I was just there like, I was rooting for you too. You can't just come in here and order somebody to come back and be with somebody. That's not how living things work. People have their own opinions, you know? But then when she was just there like, yeah, no, look at me, I have badass wings now. And he was just there like, okay, no, I can't do wings. She's power. I was just so happy, like, make them all terrified, Farrah. I still don't understand the whole Jurian thing, and I do definitely think that in the next book, we will probably get some more elaboration, but mostly it just seems to be like there's a girl who didn't love him, and then she died, so now he's siding with the person who was commanding the person who killed him. It just all doesn't make a lot of sense, and I do think that down the line I'm probably gonna be like, so that's why Jurian was there. When they snapped that bond, I just couldn't take it. And she was going back with Tamlin, she was returning to an abusive relationship, and, you know, it doesn't matter how much somebody says, oh yeah, well, you know, I learned my lesson, this time I'm gonna let you out and play. If they're allying with the evil king of Ireland who's gonna take over the world, you don't trust them. And you definitely don't go, oh, it's okay, and I knew that she was pretending, but I didn't know if Reese knew, and I was worried that she was never gonna see him again, and that, like, they were never gonna be able to, like, even just, like, mind talk again, because their bond had been severed. And then we saw from Reese's point of view, I thought it was Farrah, and she'd winnowed herself over to him, and I was really confused. Then I realized, oh wait, this is his point of view, in the first person. This is weird. It was just so sad. It's at first, and they're like, okay, at least he knew that she was pretending. I feel for you, Reese. I'm so sorry. But then, when I learned that they just severed the bond made by their bargain because Tamlin didn't, like, totally want to believe that Farrah was actually, like, Reese's mate, it just made me so happy. And then, when he said the thing about good thing that they hadn't taken off her other glove, or they would have seen the other tattoo, which made her a High Lady of the Night Court. What's this? High Lady, you say? And then we switch to Farrah's view, who's there like, oh yes, Tamlin, oh, it's totally alright, and she's saying that in her head. She's there like, you're gonna burn in hell. I'm gonna personally bring you to hell and dump the molten lava over your head. It's gonna be wonderful. I'm a High Lady. First ever High Lady. It just ends like that, and they're like, yes, this is the badass Farrah I have been waiting for the first 2 books. Just this completely self-assured, like, yeah, I'm better than you, and don't you forget it, but also, I'm not gonna sacrifice that to, like, give up my sisters. You saw so much character development, because at the beginning she said, like, I'm nothing. I'm not worthy of being loved. And then at the end she's there like, I'm the mate of the most powerful High Lord ever, and I'm his equal. They just created an entire thing which you sexist bastards haven't let women do because I'm this awesome. Take that. Farrah out. I need the next book now because she's with Tamlin, aka the worst boyfriend ever. Farrah is going to be spending a year with Tamlin. A year! No, I can't take that. She's my baby. You can't leave her with Tamlin. So, in case you haven't guessed by, all my emotions that I've portrayed, what did I think of A Court of Mist and Fury? Excuse me. This is a grade A book. This is awesome. This is probably an A+. Let's just call it an A+. I'll overlook the over-graphic sexy times, and we're going to call this an A+, because this book gave me so many feelings, I just can't give it anything else. I was sort of on the fence about A Court of Thorns and Roses. Read this. It is so much better. I would say that this is her best book yet. Like, by a long shot. This one is the best because it has High Lady, Farrah, badass, of the Night Court. I just need the next book. And that is, I think, the highest praise that you can give a middle volume in a series. Like, I need the next book and not because you were boring. So that's the praise that I'm going to give this. May you enjoy it as much as I do.